Yeah. Hustling and grinding, don't know where to go. Emerald Coast board, got the knowledge flow. Whispers in the wind, strategies unfold. Business blueprint like a pirate's code.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Tab Lab with your host, Mickey Kilburn,
Boop, boop.
and myself, Neil Grossheider. Today, we are super excited to get into a topic that it impacts every single entrepreneur. It actually impacts every single person in the world, but we're going to really gear it towards entrepreneurs today, and then just really how it affects ourselves and those around us, because it's huge. But before we get into it, we do have to give some big shout outs. One to Tanya Seabrook with Seabrook Marketing and her podcast, Run of Show, which you can find in the description. You can find her podcast there. And also Ryan with Suffer Up Podcast. That is an amazing podcast,
Good podcast.
Especially for veterans and first responders.
Yep.
Great podcast for those. Again, you can find that in the description as well. So those two people have been truly helping us with our podcast as we are continuing to be amateurs and awesome at what we do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're great.
Good peoples.
Yeah, that's right. But they're amazing, so just want to get those out there for them. But today, Mickey, we are talking about something you actually brought up to me, saying that you wanted to talk about because it was so impactful. The fear of failure.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to make this disclaimer now. I can't promise that I won't get emotional. I'm an emotional guy, and if you know me, you know I am.
He's a big teddy bear.
Yeah. No, I'm mean. Anyway, I can be very emotional, but this is a very passionate topic for me because how many people, as we talk about this, how many people don't live their life to the fullest because of their fear of failure?
That's a good point. Most, I would say, do not. Because failure is hard.
It is.
Especially in today's world, right? So today's world, we are taught to be perfect. Like how many of you out there, everything you do has to be perfect for everything, or you get picked on, or somebody comes back and is like, we're not going to do business with you because this one thing wasn't perfect. So we've created this culture of perfectionists, and if we don't live that, now all of a sudden what happens? We start becoming terrified to fail.
Yeah. And you know, and the way things are now with social media, our failures are on high display.
Yes, everybody knows.
We love to build our celebrities up and follow them, but the first time they fall for a mistake, which we all make them, they're canceled or their careers are over. And we see it even people who have views that are different.
Yes.
And then people go on this big rampage to get people fired and lives are ruined.
Correct.
So because of that, people are afraid to fail or do something because of that perception of failure.
Yeah, and which is an extremely dangerous perception because failure is what allows you to learn. It's what allows you to grow. And if we're not failing, we're never truly growing and learning as a person. It was actually something I used to do in the Air Force. Whenever I was teaching combat systems officers and active duty, people would be like, what do you do? And I would say, I teach failure. Now, disclaimer, I didn't just intentionally fail students, but I held strict to the guidelines that induced failure. Because if I have somebody who's getting ready to go fly and they drop a bomb somewhere they're not supposed to, or they do something they're not supposed to, and they don't know how to pick themselves back up and learn from that mistake, I'm not doing my job. I have to teach them how to fail now so they can correct those mistakes in the future. So they don't drop a bomb on the wrong place or don't fly where they're not supposed to fly. Fail in a controlled environment for them was very important. So we had to teach failure, not teach perfectionism.
Well, that's good right there.
Yeah.
Not perfectionism. I think that's one of the things that is projected on business owners is to be perfect. A good example is your Google reviews or your Yelp reviews, and everybody will get upset if they don't have 5.0 across the board. If they get one bad review, that's such a drastic thing for them. I've had people talk to me about that. I got a bad review. And the reality of that is that if you have a straight 5.0, people think you're not real.
Well, that's exactly it, right? Like, who did you pay?
Exactly.
What company did you pay?
Yeah, Neil is doing all my reviews for me. No, and it is a very real thing, and it happens all the time in
Yes.
lots of different ways. It's not just business. People have fear of failure in their lives, and a lot of people won't take steps because they're afraid of failing.
That's exactly right. Why do you think people are afraid to grow? Let's spin it a little bit.
Mhm.
Why do you think people are afraid to grow?
I don't think that people are afraid to grow.
Okay.
I think they're afraid of that conception of failure. They don't see failure as growth.
I like that.
You know, I'm an old guy.
Yep.
And, you know, old guy wisdom, but
He's very old.
I'm an old guy, and we grew up with, and I have raised my kids in a safe environment in our home where they can make those mistakes like you do with your pilots and your crews. Is you teach them that, hey, it's okay. What did we learn from that mistake?
Yeah.
How do we move forward in that mistake? But today's society, especially with the open internet that, you know,
Yep.
we didn't have so much as young ones, that people see everything you do. It's on display. And if you don't tell them, somebody else is telling
Somebody
them
else
for
is
you.
going to tell them.
So they don't look at it as a learning experience anymore. They look at it as almost like a ding on their resume. And I think it goes even further, that it's not just I failed at something, I'm a failure.
Yeah. I think that right there is the biggest and hardest part. So, fun fact, Mickey knows I like facts. 42%, just over 42% actually, of all entrepreneurs are scared to fail. They have a fear of failure. And what you said right there, can you just repeat it for us again?
Which part? That's a lot of stuff.
That very last part.
Yeah, that people have that fear of failure because they don't see it as failure.
Correct.
Or as growth.
They don't see it as growth. They
right.
see it as failure. So people are scared of that. So in the entrepreneurial world, almost half of those people truly don't see it as growth. They see it as a chance to be known as a failure, instead of, this is how I grow myself. This is how I can take risks with my business.
Something scary for you. I'm going to throw out another fact.
Ooh, he's throwing facts.
Right?
Guys, watch out. He actually read something.
I did.
That's scary.
On average, the average entrepreneur is not successful in business until their fourth or fifth business. So if that's true, that means there was 3 to 4 failures.
Wow. That hits home.
It does.
Like, that's hard.
Yeah. And then when you look at the other statistic, that it is within the first 5 years, 80% of all entrepreneurs close up shop and fail.
Correct.
This is a powerful thing.
That's a very powerful thing, because now we are doing what? We're inducing that fear of failure. Hey, there's a good chance I'm going to fail. Oh man, I don't want to fail. All of a sudden you make one move, and instead of learning from it, picking yourself back up and failing forward, we take it and we don't learn anything, and we just shut down.
Yeah. I think they take that internally. They
do.
don't separate that, and they say, okay, my business failed. What does that make me?
A failure.
It makes me a failure. And that's such a horrible thing.
That is.
It's a horrible, and we do it to ourselves. I do it. I know Neil does
I do
it.
all the time. I tell him all the time. I'm like, I'm an idiot.
Right?
I did this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give an example. Here's a vulnerability of Mickey. As a real estate agent, last week I did a mailer out. I did a mailer. We went out and I was doing a giveaway for shaker light, the little Kim lights, the glow sticks.
Yeah.
For kids. Come up to the office and you can get these, and not one person showed up. In 2 hours I sat there and my son was with me. So you don't think that didn't dig at me? And my son's looking at me and he's trying to help me make excuses because my son doesn't want me to feel bad. But the truth of the matter was that failed.
Yep.
I failed in that. But does that make me a failure as a real estate agent? No.
Not even close.
No.
But what does it hurt? It hurts your pride.
It does. Oh, there it is right there.
Yep. It
Where's
hurts
the pride.
the pride. And I think that's really the heart of why people are scared to fail. They're scared to tell people they fail because their pride is hurt. Like,
exactly.
What are they going to think of me now?
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. Now all of a sudden we start getting those negative thoughts in our head. Our pride is hurt. We have zero self-confidence. And just that continues to snowball.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like when your friends and family know, hey, Neil started Tab. This is what it is. It's an amazing thing. It's going to help businesses grow. It is amazing, by the way.
It's awesome.
And we're doing great things with Tab. But there's a fear of failure in your head, I think, that knowing if Tab fails, which it won't, but if it does fail, and then you go home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and your buddy goes, "Hey, bud, how's Tab doing?"
Shot to the heart.
It is.
Right there.
It is. And how does that make you feel?
Man, it makes you feel so low. It makes you feel so down, so low. So we put it in our heads, we can't fail, right?
Yeah.
So now we get a fear of failure because we know how we're going to feel.
Yeah.
And it's so tough and so hard. And that's why I want to go back to, we have to learn to fail forward.
Yes.
Because failing forward means you failed. Hey, congrats. Welcome to the club, bud. Let's keep going. Because that's really what it is. You fail just like when you were little. What happens when you fell off your bike? You got back up, and you got back on that bike, and you started going.
Yep.
Same thing what happens with entrepreneurs and just people in general. When we fail at something, crap, okay, pick myself back up, learn from that mistake, fail forward. Now we move on. And now we know what we did wrong. Okay, now I know what not to do this time.
Yeah.
What went wrong? How do I fix that for next time? And I think that's really where people miss this whole shifting of fear of failure. Fear of failure can also be called like fear to grow, because you're not growing as a person. You're not going to grow in your business accoutrement or your business entrepreneurial journey. You're not growing. You're just going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And what happens to a stagnant business? They start going down.
Yeah. And, and to bring in DISC.
Ooh, super nerd, man.
Guilty.
I can't say anything without him being like, DISC.
Yeah. So as a 97 I, which is ridiculously
high,
I worry about what people think, because eyes are people pleasers, right?
They are.
So when that friend asked me how that business that didn't work,
correct,
it hits me more because I want to please that person. And so that makes it even tougher to have that. But here's the thing. When you have that fear of failure, it flips on you, and the reality of it is now you have a fear to start.
Ooh.
You're afraid to start that because you know what the end result could be.
Yes. And which is the exact opposite of what an entrepreneur is doing. They are taking a very risky step in their life to start something with a high possibility of failure.
80% in 5 years.
But 42% of entrepreneurs are scared to fail.
Right.
Like when you put these two things together, like it's basically saying, hey, I am terrified to fail, but I'm going to do something that's going to almost ensure that I do fail.
Yeah.
Like, what is that saying? Is it lack of knowledge? Not knowing that that's actually the failure rate? Or is it I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to make something, even if I do fail, it'll help me overcome this fear.
Yeah. Imagine if some of the inventors of our time had given up after failing one time. We wouldn't have light.
Yeah. What did Thomas Edison say? Do you remember?
Yeah, I didn't.
It was somebody asked him, they were like, it took you 10,000 tries to make a light bulb, or you failed 10,000 times to make a light bulb. And he was like, no, I just found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
That's right.
I think that flip of the script right there is what people miss when we're talking about failure. I mean, we see failure on a daily basis. I know Mickey, I see failure on a daily basis. That's true. And he knows me, so he sees more than once. He sees it all the time. But in our tab boards, we're working with these entrepreneurs coming in, and they're flustered, or something is going on. They don't know what to do. They tried something, it didn't work. Now all of a sudden the business, what's happening with the business? We don't know. And there's a high possibility that what they did failed. But they have just surrounded themselves with a bunch of other entrepreneurs, and they're saying, it's okay, buddy. I've been there. That happened to me last year. This is what we did.
Right.
Right? It's showing them how to fail forward, because they're being surrounded by supportive people who have failed and said, yep, that is just a stepping stone of my entrepreneurial career.
Yeah, and like the Edison quote, it's a mind shift. You have to change that mind shift.
Correct.
From failure to, okay, that didn't work. Now what do I do?
Yep.
And that's one of the things I do love about our boards is that we help our members, and it's not just us as facilitating the board.
Not at
It's
all.
the other business owners that will sit there and go, hey, you know what? That's fine. It didn't work. Try something different. Let's try something different. And they put their heads together and try to do it.
I think that's the real power right there. It's not seeing just one person saying, hey man, it's okay. We've all been there. But when you have a collective group of people of like 5 to 7 other people being like, we've been there. You're not alone. We understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that right there is a huge, huge resource that people just don't have.
Right.
Well, they do have it, but you have to come talk to us first.
So question for you.
Yes.
Having lunch.
Yep.
Somebody walks up to you. They know you as a successful business owner and they say, hey, Neil, I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm thinking about creating styrofoam that will biodegrade in water whatever. But I'm afraid that, I don't know that it's going to work. I don't know if it's a viable product. I'm really afraid of this not working. What are some things that you would tell that person?
First, we won't know until we try it. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
absolutely.
We just don't know. We have to try it. But we really need to sit down, talk more in depth. Let's talk about how it can fail. Let's start mitigating these problems if we know what they are, or if we think we know it's going to happen. Let's just start mitigating things. Let's start going through the business plan. Let's start racking our brains with, hey, if this happens, this could fail. Okay, great. And if we miss something, guess what? That's why we have secondary and tertiary plans. How do you guys think the military does it? We have a plan.
It's true.
But then we also have a second, third, fourth plan because nothing ever goes according to plan. So if somebody's coming to me with this idea and they're like, I'm just scared it's not going to work, first thing I would tell them is, well, we will never know then. We would never know if it's going to work or not.
Right. And, and another thing that you're talking about all these different things, but SWOT comes into this as well.
Very much so.
Because now you're looking for what are the threats? What are the weaknesses? Well, when you go through a SWOT and you start seeing some of your weaknesses, you can, wait for it, get those failures knocked out before they happen.
Heyo.
Well, look out.
There was some old man wisdom.
There was a little bit. There was.
Like, man, you better watch out.
Yeah.
Starting to get too smart up for us.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that'll never.
I don't know. But if I'm sitting eating a plate of tacos and somebody comes up and asks me for that, the first thing that I'm going to tell them is good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you for number one, having the guts to even think about trying.
Yep.
Because that's the first step of overcoming your fear is just having the guts to do it.
Yes.
I had heard one time, and this goes to a lot of aspects in life, not just business, but it takes 10 seconds of courage. And once you take 10 seconds of courage to move to the direction that you want to move, but are scared to make, once you get past that 10 seconds, it gets easy.
It gets easy.
It works for if you're going to talk to somebody to ask them on a date. It works if you're a salesperson and you're afraid to make a phone call, a cold call.
I don't like those.
Nobody likes cold. Well, no. Some people like them, but
cold
not
calls.
me.
I don't either.
But when you spend 10 seconds picking up that phone and start making calls, then it gets easier.
Yep.
And easier. And it starts to mitigate those fears and you just keep going. So I think, there's a lot to being prepared and not being a failure in your business, not as a person, because it's never a reflection on you. Now, you may not listen to the wisdom around you and you fail, but that still doesn't make you a failure.
Not at all. And I think right there is we need to go back a few episodes. If you guys remember when we talked about identity crisis.
Yeah.
This is what that comes to. Because if you're scared you're going to fail as a business, but you immediately relate that to you as a failure, you are also experiencing an identity crisis. Because just because the business failed does not mean you failed at all. That means you found a way not to do that.
Yeah.
That's all that means.
That's good wisdom.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're getting older.
I got some gray hair.
Look at him.
I learned from an old man.
Scary.
Watch out, everybody. Here he goes. But that's a really big thing that we have to understand is because, we talked about imposter syndrome. We talked about identity crisis. And those are two really big things that every entrepreneur starts going through, right? If we cannot separate ourselves from the business and the business struggles, that means we are struggling.
Oh, you hit something right there. Separating yourself from the business.
Yep.
That was some old man.
I know. Watch out. I got it
He's
coming.
trying to take my job, y'all.
I got it coming. I think I may have a little more gray hair. I don't know.
That's some good wisdom. Separating who you are, your business. You are not the business.
You are not the business. And we have to make that separation, because then we have to stop and we have to go back to the fact that we know what we're doing. Like, we may lose our self-confidence, but if you guys remember, you can lose confidence, but you're still competent.
That's right.
In what you are doing.
That's right. I love that.
And so if we keep those things in the back of our mind of what we're doing, like, hey, I love this idea. We're going to take a risk. We're going to take a shot. We're going to see if this works. If the business fails, it's okay. That means I learned how not to do it this way. And now you're even more competent than you were before.
Yeah, very good.
So
that's pretty smart.
I know.
It's like you should read a book or something.
Too many. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say the TM thing, because he'll really go on that. Easy.
I love time management.
Easy.
It's so fun.
You see him start to twitch,
Yeah.
y'all?
But how do you think I learned so much in time management?
Right.
I failed at time management. Failed.
Oh my gosh.
And I struggled and struggled, but I learned and learned and learned how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I learned how to help other people get through that. But it started with failing.
Yeah.
And that, I think if we turn things around and say failure is our first step to get to your success, I think it just shifts the culture of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And and you talk about that time management being a failure. It is, for me, is something that is a time management is something that I've struggled with for my whole life. I'll create lists of lists. Everybody says, "Oh, create a list."
Yeah, get a list.
And I do all these things, and then in the day, I didn't get my list done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. And really, all the experience, this just ties into learning from others, learning from their mistakes. Yep. And I went to Neil when I found out Neil was like this, and I've sat in his class probably, 50 times? I don't know. A lot.
He always sits into my time management class.
And each time I learn something more, and I'm getting better and better and better at it. And he's got something coming for that that's just gonna be revolutionary for people. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about it yet, but something's coming. Trust me. I've been a beta tester for it, or alpha tester, I guess.
You've been an alpha tester for it since August.
Yeah.
And it has increased his productivity by 500%.
It has. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. But we are totally off topic. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But,
pull it back.
Yeah, we'll pull it back in. So we are getting close to time. So I want to ask for some more of your old man wisdom.
Old man wisdom. Here we go. I'm going to try not to get emotional. No promises. But I have made lots of mistakes in my life. I have failed lots of times. Mm-hmm. I could have went to college for a full ride. But I didn't. And I had a fear of failure. I ran the 5-minute mile on a track. And my coach said to me, Mickey, if you knock 30 seconds off your time each year, which I did my sophomore year, you'll probably get a free ride to Kansas, which KU was my school.
It's huge.
And my fear of failure, I quit track.
Wow.
So I didn't go. And I ended up going in the Navy, which I don't regret any of that. But you talk about fear. This has happened to me many times. And let me just say, if you have a dream for an entrepreneurship or any dream, and you have that fear of failure, and you think, well, what if this fails? I challenge you, what if it's successful? Change that mind.
I love that. What if it's successful?
Yeah.
Instead of being scared to fail, if your mindset switches to what if it's successful, then what can you accomplish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I wouldn't have to put a beer in front of you just to get you to run.
Or tacos.
Or tacos. We've done those. And yes, he runs for beer and tacos.
I do.
We have learned.
Yes. Very fast.
Yeah, it is. It is surprisingly fast for an old man. Oh my goodness. Did not see that coming.
Yeah. I left him in the dirt. When somebody said there's free beer, I left him in the dirt.
He just took off, and I was like, what happened? Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But it's fun. But yeah, so just as you guys are experiencing failure, because we're going to, so know it's going to happen. Understand it's going to happen and be okay with it. Know it's going to be your first step to success that you need. And make sure that you separate it from yourself, because you are not a failure. And then surround yourself with people who want to help and who are there to support.
That's right. Successful people around you.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Rising tide rises all ships.
Love it. What a great quote.
I love that quote.
Yeah. All right. Well, till next time, guys. See you later.
Yeah. Hustling and grinding, don't know where to go. And my coast board got the knowledge flow. Whispers in the wind, strategies unfold. Business blueprint like a pirate's code.